Hello students, good morning. Once again, welcome back to English lecture. Students, in the previous lecture, we have learned English Kumar Bharti Unit 2, lesson number 2.5. The name of the lesson was Let's March. And today we are going to learn the continuation part of lesson 2.5. The name of the lesson is Let's March. We can do it. You may ask that what can one person do? I would recall a story of my childhood. A heavy fire had broken out in the forest. All the animals were running away, including lion, the king of the forest. Suddenly, then he saw a tiny bird rushing towards the fire. He asked the bird, "What are you doing?" To the lion's surprise, the bird replied, "I am going to extinguish the fire." The lion laughed and said, "How can you do it, keeping just one drop of water in your beak?" The bird was adamant, and she said, "I am doing my bit." Here I am doing my bit means to make a successful contribution to a cause. And adamant means refusing to be persuaded or to change one's mind. Here the writer says that he believes each individual can contribute towards achieving this goal in their own small way. Then he says that the little bird story of the forest fire, what does it convey to us? The message, the little bird story of the forest fire conveys to us is that we must try to do whatever we can to improve matters. We must not think that our efforts are insignificant. We must not think what can one person do. Every little drop counts. If each of us makes a little bit of effort, the sum total will be substantial. 18 years ago, millions of individuals marched across the globe and demanded a new international law for the abolition of worst form of child labor, and it has happened. We did it. Millions of individuals did it. Here the writer says that 18 years ago, millions of individuals they came together from the different part of the country, and they started demanding that a new international law should be made to abolish the worst form of child labor. And today it has happened, and we did it. Not I only, millions of individuals did it. Friends, we live in an age of rapid globalization. We are connected through high-speed internet. We exchange our goods and services in one single global market. Thousands of flights every day connect us from one corner to another corner of the globe. But there is one serious disconnect, and there is a lack of compassion. Let us inculcate and transform this individual's compassion into a global compassion. Here, the writer Kailash Satyarthi gives some example to show how the world is interconnected. He says that We live in an age of rapid globalization. We are connected through the high speed internet. The exchange of goods and services in one single global market, and the thousands of flights from one corner to another corner of the globe. So, in today's globalized world, it is necessary to increase the compassion among fellow human beings. Mahatma Gandhi said, if we are to teach real peace in this world, we shall have to begin with the children. I humbly add, let us unite the world through the compassion for our children. I ask, whose children are they who teach footballs yet never played with one? Whose children are they who harvest cocoa with yet have never tasted chocolates? Whose children are they who are dying of Ebola? Whose children are they who are kidnapped and held hostage? They are all our children. Here, Ebola means it is a deadly virus disease. And here hostage means is someone who has been captured by a person or organization who may be killed or injured if people do not do what that person demands. Here the writer quotes Mahatma Gandhi by saying that children will pave the world to world peace. Then he asks everybody to unite the world through the compassion for our children. Then he is asking the question, whose children are they who teach football but they never played with the football? Then he is asking, whose children are they who harvest cocoa but they have never tasted what is chocolate? Then he asks, whose children are they who are dying of Ebola? And then he asks, whose children are they who are being kidnapped and held hostage? Here he emphasizes that child laborers are our children. They are also our children. I remember an 8-year-old girl we rescued from intergenerational forced labor from stone quarries. Here, intergenerational means affecting several generations, and stone quarries means a quarry is a type open pit mine in which dimension stone, rock, construction, aggregate, sand is excavated from the ground. When she was sitting in my car right after her rescue, she asked me, why did you not come earlier? Her angry question still shakes me and has the power to shake the whole world. Her question is for all of us. What are we doing? What are we waiting for? How many girls will we allow to go without rescue? Children are questioning our inaction and watching our action. We need collective action with a sense of urgency. Every single minute matters. Every single child matters. Every single childhood matters. Therefore, I challenge the passivity and pessimism surrounding our children. I challenge this culture of silence and this culture of passivity. this culture of neutrality. Here, the writer quotes an example of an 8-year-old girl who asked him why he had not come to rescue her earlier. Her emotional plea is a question on our inaction, passive attitude, and negativity. He challenges this attitude and calls upon the leaders of the world to get rid of the atrocities against children.